get a chance to show what he can do off the tee. Luke Burgess showing what he can do. Burgess trying to get round his man, offloads to Cooper. This is where the Australians love playing their rugby. Loose, improvised stuff. Wonderful to see. The little kick from Barnes. Mitchell's there with nobody in front of him. Ostrushko can't get back in time. And Drew Mitchell slides over for the second try. Well, the arch try predator that is Drew Mitchell knew what was on. The little ball dinked over the top, and nobody was going to stop that man.
It all started with a great break from Luke Burgess, supported by, you know, Quade Cooper. And we see it here. He's a great runner with the ball in his hand and looks easy. Great support from Quade Cooper. Offload to Higginbottom, and really, really clever kick and from Berwick Barnes here, and no full back at home. Not sure where Artemiev was, but it's pretty easy for Drew Mitchell.
Well, Mitchell loves scoring tries. That was his 29th in the green and gold jersey. And if you wind your mind back to 2007, well, he was the second highest try scorer then. 2 tries against Japan and Canada, and the hat-trick against Fiji put him just behind Brian Habana. Already a try against the Eagles, and now a try against the Bears.
And he's done remarkably well to come back from a serious leg injury to make it to this World Cup. Unbelievable recovery, and he's very, very important to the Australian team.
See whether James O'Connor can settle himself and learn the lessons of that first kick. Sweet strike and the sweet 2 points. Despite the Russians trying to put him off, James O'Connor finds his range and finds his radar. Well, O'Connor, just 21 years of age. He's going to be a teammate of Adam Burns next season with Melbourne Rebels, having signed from Western Force. Mitchell setting the focus for his pack. Immediately in the midfield, there's Kepu onto his front row teammate. Just 11 minutes gone, and Australia already recording over a point a minute. Cooper, back to O'Connor. Mitchell opting to cut back inside. There's Adam Ashley Cooper wearing 13 this afternoon. The cross kick intended for Radiki Samo, didn't even have to leap for that one. Looking for the offload, one-handed. There's Higginbottom in support. Again, the one-hand offload. Nathan Sharp. Oh, this is rugby poetry. Cooper onto McCalman. He didn't really need to pass, but Australian rugby at its very best, no question.
That is unbelievable, and they look so confident in their play. It's unbelievable play. Great crossfield kick to Samo, and he's so strong. Holds the ball up, gives a great inside pass, and unbelievable from Cooper there. He was over the line and he gives the pass. We see it here to Samo. Kushnerov fends him off very easily, and so strong. Back to McCallum or Higginbottom, and then great support from Quade Cooper. Unbelievably that he gives the pass. He could have scored a try himself.
Well, it was McCalman's first ever try, and I suspect the generosity of Cooper will be appreciated by the number 8. It really was superb, synchronised rugby.
It's looking pretty ominous so early in the game for Russia. I think it could be a long afternoon for them.
O'Connor with a simple kick. A huge Australian following. You can see the gold shirts in the tacked-out house. It is a sellout here. Over 17,000 in attendance. But Russia, well, shell-shocked. Looks like the Australian coaching committee is a bit shell-shocked. I'm sure they can't smile too early. This is Williams, Nucifora and Deans, just happy with their lot, but quietly so, smiling on the inside.
Stop, Sivan!
Again, forwards waiting out wide. It's deja vu for the Russians. There's Kepu, born in Sydney but brought up in New Zealand, played through the New Zealand age groups before returning to the country of his birth. Cooper out to Ashley Cooper. Those two, the only two of this Australian team that have played every single minute of this Rugby World Cup tournament. Cooper, Coleman, everybody wanting to get their hands on the ball. O'Connor striding up to the 22, looking for his winger. Well, let's face it, you can't miss him, but unfortunately the pass didn't find the direction.
Great play again from Australia. O'Connor, unbelievable pace. See Drew Mitchell here, he rips the ball off, and he looks really sharp today, and they're just doing the simple things so well. See the ball out the back there to Berwick Barnes, and O'Connor's in pace away. Simplikevich does very well there to get a hand between the pass and Samo, or else it was another try. Looks pretty easy for Australia.
Samo, the first player to start as a forward and a back in the same Rugby World Cup. To the extent that yesterday when they were warming up, he actually warmed up with the midfield trio of the back rows and the halfbacks rather than the back three. He had to be reminded where he was playing. David Pocock barges one off, and Pocock strolls over for the bonus point try. Well, it is a flow turning into a tidal wave here already, and we're only midway through the first half.
It's just too easy. Pocock is very strong on his feet, does really well, but very, very soft defence. Peel around the back of the line-out, and very, very soft. You see it here. Horwell wins it and slipper around the back. It's just a simple pass to the 7, and again, very, very soft tackling from Kushnerov.
Well, that bonus point try really ensures Australia's place in the quarterfinals. No great surprise there. Where they're going to be positioned, well, that will of course depend on the outcome from Dunedin tomorrow evening.
Unless the Russians sort out their defence pretty soon, this is going to be a rout. They can't be falling off simple tackles like that. Kingsley Jones will be very, very disappointed. There's been a lot of missed tackles so far in this game. Credit the Australians, they're playing the game with at pace, doing the simple things well, stretching the Russians over and back, and just getting the mismatches out wide. And again, we see the determination here, but it's simple stuff, and he'll not get an easier try than that.
Well, Pocock really known for his work around the contact area. Really, he is an uber jackal in that sense, but they're showing what he can do in the open ranges. And Russia really have to sort themselves out, and that's not the restart that they would have wanted, because immediately it passes the ball back to their opposition. Well, Australia have had a really easy, well, in their words, easy few days out of Hanmer Springs, getting some downtime. First real downtime they've had since the Super Rugby final. They've had the partners and wives out there, which has allowed them to relax, and certainly when we've seen them in town through the course of yesterday and the day before, they appeared very relaxed, very at ease.
Absolutely, they look very relaxed, very happy in themselves after I suppose the disappointment of the Irish game. They still they're in this tournament, and you know, they have to go the harder route, but certainly there'll still be a force.
Cooper and O'Connor once again combining. This time the tackle does get in. But again, Burgess always looking there around the fringe, is aware that there's a frailty there. And the Australians will be ruthless in exposing any defensive frailty. Mitchell cuts back on the bouncing ball. Barnes stepping in at first receiver, and that's the flexibility, of course, that Berwick Barnes brings. How many times he's played in that role. In and out, and the ball's still there. As the flow from Australia continues, this time it's Kepu and Stephen Moore who take them up into the opposition 22. And Ashley Cooper can't find a way through there. The Russians appear shell-shocked at the moment, but they've got to come to their senses fairly quickly. Cooper out to Barnes. Oh, a sense of a forward pass there, I think. Just a little bit too much ambition from the skipper, and James Horwell realises it.
And that's the challenge now for the Australians, that they don't get too loose and throw those 50-50 passes, but it looks so easy. They make ground every time. Simple continuity, moving the Russians over and back and just making big yards every time.
Just here, please, Sid. On this side of the map. Thanks, mate.
Well, we've talked about the Australian injury crisis.
Nice and patient.
Bibiani, I'm told, will be fit for the quarterfinals. Actually not here today. He's gone back to be best man at his brother's wedding in Australia. Rob Horn, well, his fractured cheekbone is unlikely to allow him back before the semi-finals. But there's better news on the likes of Anthony Fainga and Curtly Beale, Pat McCabe. The Australian management are hoping, and I stress that word, hoping, that they will be fit for next week. Of course, Michael Palo has gone home. We've not been told if they're going to replace him in the squad.
Lock the bind up. Lock it up. Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage.
At the end of the first quarter of this first half, and Australia dominating on the pitch and on the scoreboard.
Hold what? Hold.
Clearance kick is not going to find touch. There's Quade Cooper in his defensive position at fullback. Seen it many times before, of course, been utilised by different teams, not just Australia. Higginbottom, mentioned how big a game it is for him, wanting to put some pressure on Rocky Elsom, who's on the bench this afternoon.
Here it comes.
Cooper changing the line, kicking off his instep and forcing Ostrorushko back. And Ostrorushko had all sorts of defensive problems here against the Italians.
You got the front, George, please.
Quade Cooper turning up the stress level on the Russian right winger.
It's better defence. The Russians seem to have their line intact there from the kick. Drew Mitchell didn't really have any gaps in the line. They need to keep doing that, hold their line and force Quade Cooper into a kick.
I say right winger, of course Ostrorushko wearing 11, and it's interesting they've moved Simplakevich onto the other wing to try and hold Radiki Samo. Simplakevich 6'4", so a similar stature.
He still has a big job on his hands holding that guy.
It wasn't up yesterday at the press conference when Ostrorushko said he was ready to eat Samo. I think there was a little lost in translation there somewhere. Stephen Moore bubbles his way over the game line once again. Pocock quick to swing the ball away. The advantage again going for Australia. They're not going to stop now. Adam Ashley Cooper spots the hole and looked like he was going to roll over there. The follow-up is there from the skipper, James Horwell. Russians desperate to try and hold the fort here, but it's not going to happen. It's going to be David Pocock going in for his second try, Australia's fifth. And there is nothing, but nothing that Russia can do to stop Australia this afternoon.
Yeah, they just can't seem to hold out the tide of Australians. Didn't look like there was anything on, but a great step from Ashley Cooper and another easy try on the gain line for Pocock. We see the step here, great left-footed step, handoff for Prishapenko, and Jan Yushkin again, great cover tackle. He's been really great for the Russians in this tournament, and he powers his way over Pocock.
Well, David Pocock, born of course in Zimbabwe, but such an important part of this Australian lineup. They really did miss him against the Irish. He was supposedly rested or allowed to take the game off against the Eagles. But now back in the shirt, back in the team, and back in full force in action.
And he's very important to them, and as is Stephen Moore. I think those two guys were a big loss against the Irish. They're very important for this Australian team, and standing beside Pocock yesterday, I was pretty amazed at how strong and how powerful he is.
My kids would call him Hench.
He's like a bodybuilder, to be honest, and he's such a wonderful player. He's very, very important to. They'll be pretty pleased to have him back out onto the field, and 2 tries is not a bad return for your first game in 3 or 4 weeks. So far.
He may only be 5'11" in height. He's looked like 5'11" in width as well, and he's got the power to match. You saw him driving through the tackles And there is Kingsley Jones, Darren Morris and Nikolai Nerosh. Well, Nerosh said this week it was a historic day. Never have we played such a team at such a level. Well, those words are coming back to haunt him, because this level that Australia have found in the first 24 minutes